Hi guys, welcome to Ken's Games Collection, and I've been seeing a lot of people on YouTube doing videos on their favorite 5 items in their collection, and I thought perfect. I went through the collection and I really surprised myself on what I come up with my favorite 5 items in my collection. Starting it off with this would have to be Nintendo Switch. Now, why is Nintendo Switch in here? For me, this was my very first Father's Day gift from my wife and daughter, so it holds a lot of value to me just from that standpoint, and that's why it has to be one of my favorite 5 items in the collection. First time dad, first Father's Day gift, and what a gift that was. It was so awesome, so that is very special to me. A lot of this stuff is not gaming related. Some of it is obviously, but there's other things here that are my favorite 5 items, and this one is based on a comic book. Now, back in the 90s, I was really into comic books. Over the years, I got rid of all the collection, but there was one comic book in particular I couldn't part with. I had to keep it, and it's one of the best DC comic books I've ever read. Why it was never made into a movie is beyond me. It should have been made into the movie back in the 2000s. I really don't know why it wasn't, but it is Kingdom Come. I think this was released back in 1997. 1996 is the 4 parts miniseries, and this hardcover version of it. It's a brilliant read. If you can hunt this down, I think you can get it on the DC website digitally, but to have something like this, and it's an incredible read. I just like how you have the new superheroes, which are pretty much at war with each other. Superman's in self-exile. There's a catastrophic event that happens. Wonder Woman gets him out of self-exile, and it's an incredible read. So I couldn't part with this when I was getting rid of the rest of my comics, and why this was never made into a movie, I don't know. It's got some amazing artwork. It's very unique. It's very different. Every single panel was hand painted. It's just phenomenal. I love everything that just the chapters and everything about this was incredible. It's such an amazing read, and it's kind of told through the eyes of an old elderly man, with like a grim reaper. There's a whole narrative going there. It's incredible. It really is, and there's no way in the world I would ever get rid of that. It's a fantastic read. Now, this next item, I never really thought to look for this on eBay, and it wasn't until one day I was just doing a search looking for Phantasy Star on the Mega Drive. Yeah, it was released on the Mega Drive. I think there was X amount of copies released on the Mega Drive, pretty much identical to what was on the Master System. But I was looking for that, and I came across Phantasy Star, the Japanese version for the Sega Master System Mark III. This is with the FM chip. If you've got it on the Switch, you can switch between just a mono sound and FM. The FM chip is amazing, but I never thought of trying to track down a Japanese copy of Phantasy Star. And when I saw it, I thought, okay, I'm gonna bid on this, and the bidding was for I think over 7 days, and getting down to that final few minutes, my adrenaline was really pumping because there was a bit of a bidding war going on with myself and somebody else. And when I won this, it was just like a big fist pump in the air. I couldn't believe that I had won something that is still intact, and the box work is pretty cool. It's in pretty decent condition. I think I ended up paying $87 for it. So for a retro game, that's probably the most I've ever played for it. But even though I can't play it, it's just a nice centerpiece to talk about. And yeah, if I didn't sort of come across this while I was trying to look for the Mega Drive version of Phantasy Star, I would never have thought of trying to even think about hunting this thing down. It's just amazing. Now, I have another item here from Japan. Again, I never thought to look for this thing. I didn't know it even existed, but I was trying to look for a copy of Nights into Dreams because I thought years ago I sold my copy off. That wasn't the case. It was in a box. I found it a few years ago in a box, but I saw this the Japanese Nights in the Dream, which comes with the 3D controller and the game itself. And what really caught my eye, obviously, was the box art. That looks phenomenal compared to what we got here in the West, with just a standard, pretty much like the box cover art of the Sega Saturn itself. This thing, it's so beautiful and it's up in the collection. This thing is all brand new. The game is still sealed. It must have been from a collector in Japan, and this did come from Japan. I was so happy when I got this. So yeah, I would never get rid of this, and it's a prized possession for me at least. It may not be for anybody else, but because I'm a big fan of Nights in the Dreams, I just love it. And I was so happy when I won this as well. I think this was about $100 Australian for this, which is pretty damn good. I think these things go for a lot more now. I'm not sure how much, but it's a lot. I know that. So the final item is actually not gaming related. It's actually a TV series, Blu-ray box set. I think we have to go back to about 2010, 11 or something like that. I had a mate at work, Richard Pearson, who hounded me to watch this series, and it actually is Battlestar Galactica. Now, the reason why I never bothered watching this, because I knew the original Battlestar. I was still a kid. This was 1978, probably a year after Star Wars: A New Hope was released. I saw that Battlestar Galactica in the cinema. Even though it was a TV series, that first episode was like an hour and a half long. It got released here in Australia in the cinema. And then the rest of the episodes were on TV, and we're like, oh wow, we didn't know that was going to happen. We thought there was going to be a whole series of movies, but it was a TV show. So that was very campy. As a kid, I appreciated it. I loved the Cylons, the Raiders, the Cylon Raiders as well. But years and years go by. To me, I look back on it as being a very campy show. You know, obviously they're trying to, get the Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, got Starbuck and Apollo, all that sort of stuff. So when I knew about this thing, when it came out, I was not interested in it at all. I thought it was going to be like that. I didn't think it was going to be totally left field. And what Robert D. Moore did with the writing on this was unbelievable. And my mate at work just hounded me, and he lent me, I think it was the first, I think it was like the mini-series, and then there was like another series, or the TV movie, the mini-series, and it went into this series. So I watched those first two separate things and loved it. I didn't think I would, and to this day I thank him for introducing me to Battlestar Galactica. The writing in this was phenomenal. The female characters, the way that they were written, Cara Thrace, Sharon, Rosalind, you got number 7, I think she is, or 6, Caprica 6, I think it is. Incredible guys, Boltar, Will Adama, just perfect. It was an incredible series, and I try to watch it at least once a year, the whole thing. And it is something that I do cherish, and I do thank my friend for introducing me into that. If you've never seen this thing, give it a go. Honestly, you're going to be hooked on it. The writing is clever. It was very current with what was happening in the world. There's things in here I could see they were taking from news stories, terrorists, sleeper cells, all that sort of stuff. But clever writing. I think maybe the second last episode in the series was a bit of a letdown, but overall, fantastic. Every character was perfect. The actresses that portrayed these characters were meant for these roles, and I was so devastated when it did end, because I wanted to go on for a few more seasons. And I think the problem with the final 10 episodes of the series was it happened during the writer strike in Hollywood. And I think when that all finished, they had to go back and finish off the 10 episodes. And I think that they maybe lost their way with some of the episodes, especially the second last episode. And the last episode, they tried to cram so much into the character arcs of each character to try and tell their story, wrap it all up or whatever. But overall, fantastic. Seriously, if you haven't watched it, you got to watch it. It's amazing. And I do try and watch this once a year from start to finish. It's a long haul, but it still does pull me in even today, probably after 10 years or more now. It's phenomenal. So that is it. That's my favorite 5 items in my collection. What's your favorite 5 items in your collection? Do a response video to this, or leave a comment down below telling me, I'm getting tongue-tied, what's your favorite 5 items in your games room, in your collection. It doesn't have to be gaming related like this. Who would have thought? But it is special. It's amazing. I just love it. It's amazing. So that's it, guys. See you next time. Bye.